So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to open up for questions. Has anyone got any questions? I'm sure you surely have some questions.
Drop the hand up emoji in the chat if you do have questions, and we'll call on you. And then if not, I'll go through some of the existing questions that we've got in there. So Aaron, yep, you will be getting that script. And then so for you, Sarah, the question, Michael, is does the appointment setter use your platform, e.g., speaking through using your profiles?
Yes, yes. I find the reason I did that, look, it took me a lot to finally do it, but I tried both, and people are just more connected to a person. And so I use my face to do it. So I have my personal, obviously, which is just mine for friends and family. But for me, I just give them access to my personal brand.
Yeah, because that's the brand you're building through your content, through your testimonials. So if you have,
More humanizing. It just
yeah,
works. Like it works better than doing it through a company. I mean, some of, the marketing managers that I've spoke to in the past they find it, very difficult to do it. But because we're sort of producers, directors, we can do it. We can build our name, our clout out, and I think it's very wise to do that because people will just connect with you quicker. You'll get the booking faster.
yeah. Easiest anecdote around that with cloud building is Gary V before you recognize VaynerMedia. The business is the delivery vehicle in that
Y-
regard.
y- Yeah, I mean, you can go on with that, like, Logan Paul with Prime and then Conor McGregor with like proper whiskey. Like, I always say, position yourself as the creative director that has the agency, but you are the sort of mastermind behind the agency. That's always like, I prefer that positioning. It's just better. It works better. Did for me.
Mikel has put his hand up. Do you have you there,
Cal.
Mikel? Oh,
Yeah, one sec. Yeah. So just a quick question on the amount of chats basically you do before your call to action. Is there an element of, you're initially talking to the guy and you want to get him a meeting link, but obviously you don't want to do it too soon to rush him and don't want to go on forever until he loses interest. Is there a sort of sweet spot in the amount of messages you chat
Yeah.
back and forth before you get a meeting?
Yes. Yeah. So basically what we're looking for is the story certification. So to my setters, it was like, they'll say to me it's booked, and I'll say, is it story certified? So once you've got the struggle, straight onto the thirst. Once you've got the thirst, are you the owner of the business? Once you've got the owner, you've got a decision maker, you've got a problem, you've got a desire. Now we need to know, have you got revenue? Have you got money? And somehow you got to figure out that engineering of that question to get that out so they're qualified. And then the last question that I think is important, is this a now thing or a next year thing? Is this important to you? Like, I need to know you're ready to book now and that we're going to make a decision. Otherwise, you're not qualified. You just like, it's a next year thing. And it's really hitting them key. That's why that's another thing that why I'm massively enforcing the script. The script, that script has made me over 1 million. It works because of that exact reason that conversations go on too long. We may be feeling off. We may be, feeling chatty today. You might want to have a bit of a chin wag. And then you go off a beaten track. And what you're doing is you're losing complete focus. But because we spent the time on the psychology of this actual script, it just primes them for the meeting, and it keeps the tempo and the pacing and the quality of the conversation to keep going. You'll know when you've got a really good dialed in script because they just book every time. If you've got a niche and you've got a good offer and you're helping them with things like branded assets, building out their client visual, sales acquisition infrastructure, you're doing brand story, you're doing impact stories, you're doing the short form, long form content offerings. Why wouldn't they talk to you? I mean, you're specialized and you're asking very deep questions around things, their pain, their struggle. Are you the owner? What kind of revenue? What's the end look like? Let's jump on a call. It just books. It's so much better than what I see on where people just go straight for the kill. So the pacing of that script will keep that conversation tight. It will keep the rhythm enough So
Yeah.
it feels natural. So stick to the script.
Yeah, an arbitrary amount if you're going off script or you're trying to still find that voice. 2 messages between each element of story. 1 to 2 messages. 1 to 2 sort of questions. A question to ask the broader thing. So like, what's your goals this year? And then maybe a question underneath to probe deeper to clarify and show that you're customizing. Then on to the next stage.
Guys, newsflash. We're all directors. We're all storytellers. This is just like an edit. That's all it is. It's just the rhythm and pacing of an edit. That's all it is. When you're building out that script, you're writing and it's to see it as an edit. This is the spike. This is the emotional point. This is where we drop the reveal. We keep the curiosity going. Just see it as an edit. Like it's actually a timeline for an edit. And just making sure that your script is bouncing. Use ours one as a centerpiece because we've trialed and tested it. And then just customize it around your voice, your language. And another pro tip as well is just make sure you use the industry jargon. So if you're fully niche down, like for instance, Brandon's team are using words like attorney, cases. They've got their head wrapped around their industry language, and I'm seeing it through their content now. They're getting more and more dialed in with their industry language now that it's really starting to speak to these people. Speaking to attorneys, and that is the way to get that relatability going, so that they actually feel connected to you.
Yeah. And now I think Maddie and Carla had questions. Maddie, what was the question that you had?
I was just wondering how this compares to the 2 hook method and whether it's worth doing both at the same time, or is it better to just focus on doing this outreach?
Look, the 2 hook method is phenomenal. also did really well with that particular method as well. But if I honestly had to, this combined both would be perfect. Yes, I would do both.
Yeah.
There's no question.
And
Both is just as well. Social. If you want to take your bit, I mean, I've always been international. I've never ever thought to myself I'm local to Brisbane, Australia. Like, no. I was managing clients in Spain, but I was managing it from Brisbane. So I would just I would do a director's fee and say I'll organize camera guys out in Spain. So I was doing the shoot in Mallorca. I was doing shoots in UK. I was doing shoots in America, and just simply like I was just organizing it. But creative directly, them filmmakers would send me back a hard drive, and I would cut it with my team. So I was always open for business worldwide. And I think if you think like that, I don't think there's anything stopping you from hitting sort of people all over the world. You just need the right structure.
Yeah. I think
So both.
Yeah, both, and then start with the one that you're finding success with. And run with the one you're finding success with, and then add the other one later as an additional revenue stream. Don't try and dial in both at the same time. It's the same thing with niching. You pick one niche, master it, add the sister niche on. So master one lead gen, get your setter onto it, then move on to the next one and become the guinea pig of the next, to sort of address that in a way that's applicable for your situation there, Maddie. Carla, I think you next.
Yeah. I have 2 pretty easy questions for you guys. So I realized I haven't been commenting a lot on like potential clients' posts very much before DMing them. So is there like a time frame where you comment and then you wait, or are you just hitting them straight away?
So typically I'll get yeah, so that's a great question. So compliment, question, and then connect, send them the DM. When they reply back to you, right? Now they should see it straight away, but the social pressure of giving them a public compliment that makes them look great, that doesn't look like you're slimy, that you're trying to get them into the funnel, but you actually genuinely mean it. And then you asking, it's hard when we're saying to you script it. So you have to believe you have to train your setter to make sure that they also have some kind of intuition that they also like it too, right? And you have to tell them what you think is a good post and think like you, right? So the way I do it is compliment question, send a message. Now, if they don't respond to you, particularly in Instagram, because it goes to that forbidden message hidden thing, right? So then you wait for them to comment publicly, and when they've commented public, you sort of acknowledge what they've said, and then you say, by the way, I just shot you a DM. And that's how you get them into the story certification. So you're kind of looping them back in. It's you try it this week, you'll see it works perfect. The
My
part that
second
you
question. Oh, you go.
no go, it's fine.
My second question was about audio. Like I started using audio a bit more in my DMs. Do you guys do that like right
Yes,
away?
yeah,
Are you using
I
all
actually
one?
yes. So that's another way that I work in conjunction. I didn't want to talk about that. I was gonna do it. I was gonna do some extra stuff around it.
Sorry.
So one no, I will talk about it. It's a great question. So we actually, as of next week, are going to start sending videos. So what I do is when I wake up, I'm hitting whoever's on. I'm like, do you need any audios? We just have a WhatsApp group called the Hustle Room. I highly recommend you all set up your Hustle Room and get ready for your setter to come on, because that's where we communicate. We've got about 5 in there at the moment. And I'm like, does anybody need me for audios? And then what they do is they shoot me the links through, right? And so what I'm going to do now is I use audio, but then I'm going to start to use like, them disappear on Instagram videos. It's like, hey, how you doing? Like, so they feel they really are talking to someone. But again, you got to be really careful with that stuff, because you don't want it really works well when, one, you care about who you're talking to, and two, you're very, very authentic, right? You're asking and following the script because we need to know these pain points that we can solve, obviously. But the trick is to make it look as authentic as possible. Is to really humanize it. Use humor, use emojis, use I see. Ah, I know what you're saying. I understand. It's really about listening to understand, not listening to just reply. And a lot of the script is designed just to reply. But if you can dial it, and this is again why I'm saying that we need to do that 90-minute session until we've got it tweaked to the point where we feel like it's a very authentic script.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The only thing, and I say this is so you aren't consistently in the DMs, is don't over rely. The audios are good and they work. Like if you want to stay customized and keep that method, use it. But if you over rely on audios to cut through the noise, and because when was the last time any of you got an audio message on LinkedIn? Like it doesn't happen very often, so it does cut through the noise well, but you can't customize or delegate voice messages. You can literally
Do it
use
for whales. You do it for whales. So if you're talking to someone that you know is a whale, then you throw everything at it. But if it's just an average business and you know it's not like that, you yeah, I do it for high profile. That's really where you want to do it. It's when it really it's going to turn into, if you're going to close down if you can see it's an ideal client that you've already done 6 figure or a story partnership, you're like, yep, definitely. That's what I would. It kicks in for stuff like that. Yeah.
Is there
Any other questions?
any other questions from the audience? I will take the silence as a no. And
Good to see everybody. Lovely to see you. Those of you got guest pass. Hi. If you want to work with us future, hit us up on my email, michael@michaelhanson.tv. Other than that, guys, been a great session. I'm going to do more of these.
yeah. The
I'll
recording.
record it. I'm going to give you the recording and the download. I know and Ethan will send that out to you. Go on, Ethan. Sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off.
So the recording for the students inside the academy will be up on Thinkific, and along with all the swipe files. For those with the day pass one-off, it'll be sent to you as a G Drive link with a Google Doc with all the shoot off links. as well as a downloadable version of the recording in the same folder. So it's all there in one place for you to utilize and go back to and work from when you need it.
Thank you guys. Have a good week.
Thank you, Ben.
Talk
See you all
soon.
later.
Bye-bye. Bye.